One of the most important things about programs like this, and this is my goal, that I inspire you to take action with some of your personal goals, that your personality is increased. Is it possible to double your friendliness by smiling a little bit more? Is it possible to double how approachable you are, both with patients and in your personal life, through smiling and nodding and some of the things that we've talked about in this chapter? But developing, and what separates the great practices and the great even athletes, is their attitude. This PMA stands for positive mental attitude. We've heard about it, but it's easier said than done. How do you get this positive mental attitude? Number one step is you need to detox. Look, if you're going on a diet, right? I am on a detox right now with diet. And my detox is, because most of the time when you think of detox, you think of getting off drugs and alcohol. My detox is getting off some of the foods that are bad for me, getting off gluten, getting off dairy. I'm tapering off some of the toxic chemicals in my life, whether it's artificial sweeteners, right? Or too many good glasses of wine. That's a detox. And while you're detoxing, you start feeling better. You have clearer thoughts, a better memory. You're happier. Well, when you're working on your personal life, on who you are, when you're working on your self-concept and your self-esteem, and you adopt this new mindset of positive mental attitude, you have to detox. The first area of detox is, and I'm going to ask you to try to do this, is you got to run for your life from the negative news on TV. Now, I'm not saying don't watch news. Don't keep up with current events, but you can go on CNN's website, you can go on Fox News's website, you can go on any website you like, even TMZ if you want to know about the Kardashians. You can go on these websites. But pick and choose the news that you're going to watch. I don't think it serves you to hear about the person that's 400 miles away, about the guy that hijacked the car and killed the people inside, or about the horrible accident. Look, have you ever driven down the street? It's only happened to me once. You're driving on the freeway and you see an accident, maybe even before the paramedics show up. You see people and they're in trouble. One time I passed an accident and there was, I saw like a car seat that was on the freeway. That affected me. That visual affected me for the rest of the day. It affected my attitude. And I'm telling you, if you're any type of a caring person, if you're watching the news and you see tragedy, it's going to affect you. I don't care how positive you are, it's going to affect you. There are certain negative people, you know what's so funny, the slumping practices, they can rattle off all the bad things about the president. They can rattle off numbers, exact numbers of the unemployment rate. They can rattle off numbers of crime in their area. They're watching too much news. Watch positive news, happy things, rent romantic comedies if you have to. But pick and choose your news, because that stuff is going on in your head. And if you, now here's the next thing. What do you want to do now? It's like a computer, right? You want to fill your head with positive information. When I first got on this trip and went on my detox of no more bad news, I'm calling it the bad news. There really is. In fact, I have friends that are newscasters. 80% of the news is negative because that's what people like looking at. I don't, but that's what people like looking at. And you have to be very careful. I mean, look, even there's a part of me, I'm watching The Sopranos right now as a retape, and I'm going, this is so negative, and why do I keep wanting to watch it? It's just the way humans are. So stay away from the news. Brainwash yourself into positive attitudes. So I started reading positive books. My first positive books, Think and Grow Rich. Then I started reading more positive books, biographies of people that, like Tony Robbins, that was living, as he says, in a 400 square foot apartment and learned all this great stuff about business and personal development. And then people started wanting to pay him for what he knew and what he learned. And so I started getting all these references of success stories and people that, in spite of a poor economy or a sluggish economy, they were thriving and doing well. So collect good stories, not negative stories. That's the thing. You know, some people say, don't collect negative evidence. You know, things aren't going so well for you in your practice. You call your buddy, things pretty slow, terrible. Yep, it's the worst. Yep, me too. It's like misery loves company. What you need to do is find out who's a person that's a small practice, 3 employees, and if you have 50 employees, who chances are there's somebody doing a little bit better than you. So you need to seek best practices, collect these positive stories, and develop a mindset that it doesn't matter what career. And for those of you, look, if you're watching this, I know you have a personal life outside of dentistry. So if there's something you want to do, whether it's playing guitar or video blogging or written blog, find somebody that's getting great results, find out how they did it, model your behavior after theirs, but develop this winning philosophy mindset. They say adopt a winning philosophy. And what happens after these books and tapes, you start thinking, you actually brainwash yourself into thinking, I can do it. And the doctors that I've worked with one-on-one, I worked with a plastic surgeon one time, I'll never forget it, and he's a famous plastic surgeon right now. You know who he is. He's on a #1 hit show right now. And he believed, well, you know, patients just don't like this, and patients are like that. He had these goofy limiting beliefs. We shifted it, and I had to get him to accept full responsibility. I said, look, if you're slow, if you're not as busy as you want to be, because you have something to do with it. We changed some of what he was doing because he forgot one thing. He had to be friendly to his patients. He did a detox diet. No more news. And look, he gives me credit, believe it or not. He goes, you know what? I got stuck in that negative news cycle. There's positive books, positive tapes, positive seminars. There's churches all over the place. Start filling your head with positive information, and what's going to come out of you is positive. Nothing but positive. And I think finally, one of the things that Tony Robbins talks about is a commitment to constant and never-ending improvement. The Japanese call it kaizen, and that is ongoing improvement. You're always looking to get better. You know, they say you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Either you're getting greener or you're getting rotten. And so you have to ask yourself, am I more positive this year than I was last year? And look, there's always challenges in our lives. Look, I have 2 kids of my own. I've been divorced. I've been through miserable times, and I don't pretend to know your situation, but all you can do is fill your head with positive information, commit to becoming a better person, and it's an ongoing thing. And for some of you, I may be giving you a wake-up call. Because if you think I'm right, when you're at the end of this day, get a positive book. And one more thing you have to detox from. If you have negative friends, busybody friends, you're going to have to do some spring cleaning. Because if you have a negative friend, you got to get rid of them. If they bring you down, suck your energy out of them. I have one negative friend, my friend Robert. And I almost like keeping him around. He's the one negative guy I like keeping around. I went to high school with him. He's a good friend of mine. And he knows that I say this about him. But every once in a while, when things are, I'm not in the best of moods or whatever, I have challenges in my life, guess what I do? I call Robert. He's so miserable, so depressed, such a horrible outlook on life, and he makes money and he's doing well, that after that, hanging up that call, I said, boy, things aren't so bad for me after all. I could be more like him. So, positive attitude.